Good morning, everyone. In a surprise twist, today we have a lot of news about MultiVersus. Yeah, after a very long hiatus, the game's coming back, and we've got some interesting updates on that. Plus, some cool new positive updates regarding some changes I made recently to my tech stuff here, updates to the schedule, and more to discuss. All this on today's Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the show. Today is Monday, the 11th of March, 2024. Of course, I'm DSP, and I welcome you to the show. And a chill day, although this month some things are a little bit different, a little bit thrown out of whack. A day where there's only one stream, okay? So I'll just say this up front. Today, since I'm only doing one stream, if you're here, if you like the podcast, please support it. If you like Final Fantasy VII, please support it. Or in general, if you just like my content, please support it. I won't have a second stream tonight for people to attend and support, so it'd be great if I could get some kind of support on the first stream, okay? Got it out of the way. Now I don't have to talk about it. Okay. So on today's show, we got a variety of stuff to talk about. First of all, I'd like you to know how yesterday went with the React stuff, which it went pretty well. We'll talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about my first day's experience using these new filters on my microphone, which I never used before. I never had filters on my microphone. So I didn't know how they were going to work. I didn't know how positively it was going to affect things. And we'll talk about that because apparently some really good positive improvements. I also want to talk about the schedule because right now, excuse me, with everything going on and the fact that we're in the midst of so many games, we need to focus, I feel, on certain games and try to get as far as we possibly can in them so that they can be on the schedule to be beaten first so that we will have room for new games. To give you some perspective here, this coming Friday is the release of the Star Wars Battlefront collection, Classics collection, I believe it's called, and I'm very excited to play this. I love the classic Battlefront games. The collection seems like it's going to be pretty solid multiplayer fun. A week from then, we've got Rise of the Ronin, okay? It's a game that everyone is very interested in. Looks like a good variety game with samurai combat, stealth, and other aspects. Very different from all the stuff that I'm playing right now. It definitely will feel like a breath of fresh air to play it. Later this month, we may be checking out Alone in the Dark, a horror game starring David Harbour. Maybe. We don't know until we get more information because there hasn't been any real gameplay yet, so we have to see if it's any good or not. The fact that it's been delayed twice up to now isn't a great sign, but I guess we'll see. But the point I'm making here is there is definitely stuff that I'm going to be doing that I need time to do. But if I'm in the midst of so many games, including Baldur's Gate 3, which has now been in Act 3 for how many weeks, and we're seemingly not getting any closer to the ending of the game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I now started playing about a week and a half ago, and to be honest, we've barely scratched the surface of, despite the fact that, if you don't know, I'm actually, you ready for this? 17 hours into the game, so nearly 20 hours in, and we haven't even really gotten past the earlier stages of the game yet. So, to give you perspective, I think this is going to be another long-haul RPG again, right? Like Dragon Infinite Wealth, a game that now we are over 40 hours into, and we're in Chapter 8, and Chapter 8 is just taking forever. And it's like, wow, these games are just lingering. When will we ever beat any of them? And honestly, I don't know. Because this is the problem with modern gaming. Almost all the games that have come out are lengthy RPGs that take too long to finish, when it comes to my content. I'm not saying that if you're only playing one RPG and you're enjoying being immersed in that world and the RPG is 100 hours long, that's a bad thing. I'm saying that when they release 10 of these games within a 3-month span, that's too much. So, that being said, what we need to do is really hone in and focus on a couple select games to try to get them finished, hopefully, by the end of March. And if they get finished by the end of March, that means now we can focus on other games and get them into the schedule more regularly. Because right now, if I just add in Battlefront this Friday, Rise of the Ronin the next week, Alone in the Dark the next week, and I'm not finishing any games, it just means we're going to be playing 6-7 games, and I'll never beat any of them because I'll only be playing them like once a week. That's not going to work, right? So I feel like some tough decisions have to be made, and some people are going to be happy and some people will not, at least in the short term. It's like they say, you can't please everyone all the time, right? You can't. So if I can't please everyone, I might as well just accept the fact that there's going to be some people disappointed no matter how we tackle this upcoming challenge, right? And so we're going to talk about the schedule for this week and how I'm going to kind of juggle it around a little bit, and a major focus on 2 particular games to try to get as far into them as I can. And hopefully, if I play them more than other stuff, we'll be able to beat them by the end of the month or get really darn close. And then basically kind of having 1 or 2 other new games in the mix this month for variety, which I want. I'll be honest, yeah, it gets tiring when you're playing the same games for this long. But we'll see. Let's talk about it today. Okay, that's going to be one of the major topics of discussion. The other major topic today is MultiVersus, which out of nowhere has a bunch of news. They had a giant announcement this morning regarding engine changes, gameplay changes, new characters, release date, the style of game it's going to be, and all this stuff. It's like, whoa, MultiVersus has been gone for like almost a year, and now all of a sudden, boom, all this info. Kind of interesting, okay? All right, so first off, no late stream tonight, everybody. Why? Because I got to do stuff, personal stuff. I have to film private patron videos behind the scenes. I have to work more on behind the scenes stuff that I always have to do this kind of year for the business. It is what it is. And so I got to work on stuff. And that being said, yeah, I can't be here tonight. Sucks. I like being here. Double streams every day. You know that. You know I love hanging out with you. Basically, March is always kind of like this, where I have to take time out. It happens every year. And it's no difference this year. It looks like this tonight, and then maybe next Monday as well, Monday night, are 2 more nights I have to take off from streaming. After that, we should definitely get back into the full-time swing of things, where I'm here every day, double streams. Okay, so today and 1 more day next week, and then we get back into everything. Okay, so sorry about that. It is what it is. Again, if you are a fan of the content, if you enjoy everything I do here, please support the content today during the stream that I'm actually here. The reason I say that is because already a week and a half into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the streams aren't doing very well. You know, I'm noticing that the attendance has dropped off. The engagement and support have dropped off. And it's like, well, this is the only stream I'm doing today. If you like the stuff, a lot of people have come by during the podcast particularly just to hang out, and then they dip when I start playing the game. Hey, I'm all for that. Come hang out with me on the podcast. I love having you. But please, you know, support while you can be here, because that's really the only time I get to do the work for the day, okay? Okay, so we have so many topics to talk about. The first one I'd actually like to jump into is my microphone, all right? So listening to feedback in the last month, okay, I upped the volume of my microphone because people were saying that my volume was always too low on my streams and my videos, and I needed to increase it. So I did. But then all the game volume was off because the games were too low. So then I increased the game volume. But then what happened was people were saying there was too much blowout or clipping or whatever you want to call it, because the game volume had been, or the mic volume had been increased. Now, if I did something like cleared my throat or burped or something like that, okay, it was annoying people. They're like, oh, it's really bad now, especially for like headphone users. So yesterday, I adopted new microphone filters, and the idea was to test them during React Day and see how they apply. Now, honestly, I don't know if that's going to be representative of everything because it wasn't gameplay, right? It was just me reacting to videos. But for what it's worth, okay, the feedback that I received yesterday was quite positive, okay? There's 3 things I implemented: a noise suppressor, a noise gate, and a limiter. What these are supposed to do, essentially, is stop things that are atmospheric noise from being heard. Like, for example, right now, in my office, I've got a fan on, and right over here, I've got my PC running, which is loud fan noises, and my chair creaks. So right now, I'm just curious, and I'm going to go completely silent, and you tell me if you hear anything. Ready? Now I'm going to click my mouse. Ready? You hear any of that? You hear nothing. It's actually working very well. So all these little annoying atmospheric noises you used to hear have been completely muted. I wasn't even thinking about the chair creak, because the chair creak is really annoying. It's loud sometimes when I'm moving here, and you don't even hear it anymore. Whoa, well, that's a huge improvement. So that's really cool. The other thing that it does is it basically makes it that when a really loud noise happens, it's going to muffle the noise. All right. And actually, I actually kind of heard a side-by-side comparison of me like coughing into the mic and sounding loud, or me coughing and it's kind of muffled. Now, I'll be honest. The muffling is a little jarring, especially, for example, when I'm laughing really loudly. This is what happened yesterday. I was watching Heavy Rain, and I went to laugh, and people were like, oh, the laugh was muffled. And I'm like, well, you know what you could do about that? Like, it's kind of like you got to settle on what's better. Would you rather have it muffled and your ears never get like blown out by too loud noise, or would you rather have it, you always get the genuine sound so you can hear everything, but then it's going to be overly loud sometimes, right? So I guess for now we'll leave everything in place as is. But I would like your feedback on what you think. Particularly now we're going to get into full gameplay stream days again. You know, yesterday was a React day. It's a certain audience for that content, but not everyone. As we head fully back into gameplay now for the rest of the week, I'm going to get a bigger audience of people who are going to give me better opinions. Not better opinions, but more varied opinions, I feel. Okay? So let me know. You want me to... Oh, can I clap to give a demonstration? Sure. All right, so ready? I'm going to clap into the mic, and this is what it's going to sound like from now on. Ready? I think that's a good example because I saw it did max out over there, but likely you heard a muffled sound, right? Orange says, I notice it muffles your laugh and the beginning of certain words when you're not speaking for a while. So if I'm completely silent and then all of a sudden I start talking, maybe the beginning of that first word gets muffled. Okay, interesting. As long as the burps are still for full forces, Adam, I don't think they will be. I think the burps even will be muffled. So all these years that people complain, Bill burps, it's disgusting. Why doesn't he have a mute button? Man, I hear the creaking of his chair. How unprofessional. Why do I hear all this fan noise in the background? Why is it that when he starts recording and stops recording, I hear a click constantly? It's in all of his videos. None of that's going to happen anymore. It's literally overnight done. Okay? So let's see what happens and go from there. Obviously this sounds good, right? And that's the thing, yeah. Who needs a mute button if the noise gate is going to take care of this stuff and you can't hear most of it anyway, or it's muffled? Then it's not a big deal anymore, right? So let's see how it goes. All right. Thank you for your feedback. Please continue to give me feedback. I would love to hear your feedback on this. If you think it's an improvement, or hey, if you have any further suggestions for tweaks or improvements, let me know. This is just a small one that it was easy to implement. Now, the other thing that is interesting about this, should I employ some of these on gameplay audio? Now, that's a big question. I'm going to give you a perfect example here. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. When I get into combat, people have been complaining that for some reason the game audio seems to increase during combat, and you can't hear me talk at all, right? That the combat looks good and the gameplay is good, but you can't hear me commentate on it. Should we employ a limiter of some sort on the game so that when it goes into combat, it basically doesn't have those issues. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you think? Right? I guess I need your feedback on that. By the way, why did Big Ocho get banned? He shouldn't have been banned. He didn't. It just got timed. Oh, okay. It just got, the message just got deleted. Okay. Good. He made fun of a detractor, and it's like, I don't care if you make fun of a detractor. It's just, I understand some people are, like, touchy with that. They see the name and they freak out. Okay. Anyway. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about me putting some of these things on gameplay? I think if I'm going to do it on gameplay, the only one that I should do is the one that limits the high notes, which one is that called? I get confused between these filters. It's not, would it be noise suppression? I think that would be noise suppression, would it not? Or would it be the limiter? Now I'm confused. I think it's the limiter, right? I think that if you hit a certain decibel level, what it would do is automatically like nerf it, but I'm not sure exactly how it works. Okay. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. I want feedback. Yeah, limiter will cut off the high volume. So here's the thing though. You really want to cut off the game volume? I don't know if that makes sense. Like cutting off the game volume versus maybe finding a way to lower it. You know, I don't know. But I guess we have to talk about this. I only was thinking about it in regards to the mic, and then it was actually OP Boone had left a comment on a video. He was like, "Oh well, you know, this might work wonders for gameplay for a game like Final Fantasy VII right now." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it in regards to like a game. I was only thinking about the mic." So let's think about this, okay? And please, again, I need your feedback on it. Shout out to Lucky Gremlin, just gifted 10 memberships to the community. Congrats to Adam, Brendan, Wogo, Daniel7, Bull from Night Court, Going Man, The Scale Scholar, Hiro Nakamura, Derek, and JB's Spooky Review. Awesome. And thank you, Lucky Gremlin, for supporting the channel. And Ponage 101, no problem. No problem at all. I think the Big Ocho timeout has been fixed. It was an error. Cool. Okay. So that was the first segment. Let's talk about yesterday quickly. Excuse me. Yesterday was React Day. And yesterday was a podcast followed by the DSP versus the Internet Clips React show on DSP Reacts, followed by the DSP Reacts, excuse me, the DSP Throwback React show, Retro React, Heavy Rain. It all went pretty well. I would say that the clip show was a good variety yesterday. I actually don't think there was a moment during the show that I was bored. That's a good thing. Like, everything was interesting. I learned a lot about Warhammer. I learned a lot about all kinds of different things. We learned about what governments are kind of ranked as not corrupt or something like that. There was some food stuff, like Japanese food. It was good stuff. And I like those variety shows because it keeps you interested in moving around from topic to topic. And, you know, it gives me an opportunity to talk about a lot of different things. There was actually, I'll say this because this was really funny, but at the same time, it was really stupid. So there was a video that was a parody of what it's like trying to get a job. Okay. In America, that is. And showing, oh, here's how you go online. You try to apply via this online service. And literally all the good jobs have an insane amount of requirements, like 400 years of experience. And, you know, you have to have the godlike powers of a deity to get hired for this job. And it's like, how can anyone get those jobs, right? It's stupid. Then the other jobs that are listed there that have like, oh, you don't need any experience, they're all lies because you apply for them and they either don't exist or the job's not what it even says it is because they're trying to bait and switch you into a job because they need people so desperately. So I commented on this saying, you know, you know, right now in America, the United States, that is, it's kind of ridiculous how annoying the job searching process is because of a lot of different things. And you get my idiot detractors coming in saying, how could Phil possibly know this? He hasn't had a job since 2010. Really? I haven't worked since 2010. I haven't made a living. That's interesting, right? Also, the funniest part about that is they apparently are under the impression that there's absolutely no way that I could ever absorb any information from anything but firsthand experience, right? Like there's no way that I could read testimonials, talk to actual people who have been looking for jobs in the job market. Like this doesn't exist apparently. What I do is I just sit here in an isolation bubble, speaking to no one, and only bouncing ideas off the wall in front of me back at me. So all I have is first-person experience. It's like, wow, it's almost like you're really stupid, but we already knew that. But I just found that funny, that here I am actually adding pretty insightful commentary from my own firsthand experiences and experiences of other people around me who have relayed this to me. And you get people that are being so stupid about it. It's like, whatever. Anyway, so that show went pretty well. And as usual, first 2 videos went live. The next video actually probably just went live as I was broadcasting here. I just want everyone to keep in mind, daylight saving time began. And that means that all my streams and content start an hour earlier now. So this has shifted some times. And I actually don't know if it affected, I don't think it affected the video publishing times. But my streams are earlier now. And, you know, I noticed yesterday distinctly, yes, people were late. People were showing up an hour late for everything. Just like right now, I guarantee you within the next 25 minutes, you're going to have people showing up and being like, oh, the show's already on? Yep, we had daylight saving time yesterday. So all my stuff starts an hour earlier. As stupid as it is, I hate it too. All right, so last night, excuse me. Last night, it was DSP Throwbacks, Heavy Rain, Retro React. Again, went really well. And the pacing that we're at is that every time that I do one of these streams, we get through about 10 parts of the playthrough. Okay, which is not bad progress at all. The playthrough 60 parts. As of last night, we finished on part 40. So likely what's going to happen is 2 more weeks to wrap up the Heavy Rain Retro React. It's a great time because you could tell in the audience, some people have never played Heavy Rain before and don't know what's going on with the story, and they're actually like hooked on it, while others love this playthrough. They've seen it before. It's one of their favorites, and it's cool to re-explore this playthrough so many years later with me. Of course, a lot of the commentary is very, very cringe, and I'm calling it out for what it is, you know, the bad commentary, and there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, it's 13-year-old commentary. It was very popular, 14-year-old commentary, actually. It was very popular when it was new. Today I watch it and I cringe, especially the over-the-top sexual jokes that I have to be making every moment, because back then, I literally had to fill every single moment of dead air with dialogue. Why? Because it wasn't a live stream. It wasn't an interactive audience where I had discussions. It was just me and a game. So I felt, hey, if this is moving slowly, or if this dialogue is kind of bland, I have to fill these gaps with blabbing. And it would be a lot of different kinds of jokes and blabbing, and a lot of it was sexualized stuff that was really stupid today to watch back, but it is what it is. You know, I call it out, and it's good to call it out for what it was, because I don't do that stuff anymore. So, it's going well, I would say. I had a good time with it last night. Check out the videos right now. Basically, there's one part live, and then another part will go live every day for the next 4 days. So it's pretty much the same for both DSP Reacts and DSP Throwback. One new video a day for the next 4 days to space it out. Now, if you're someone who likes that stuff and doesn't want to wait, if you become a member of either channel, you actually get to watch the archive streams. That's one of the benefits of being a member of either channel. Those streams go members only right away, so members can watch them back without having to wait all week to see the individual video. So maybe consider becoming a member and supporting those channels. Basically, that's the only way I get support on those channels. The ad revenue is negligible. I exaggerate. I wish I was exaggerating. On DSP Throwback, I make $1 a day on ad revenue. $1 a day. On the React channel, I don't even make that much, because on the React channel, everything is claimed. So there's nothing I can do about that. That's just the nature of when you're reacting to stuff. The originators of the content claim all your content. So please consider supporting those channels if you like that stuff. Okay? Cool. So that was yesterday. Now let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. And this is really a topic that we need to discuss, because some people right now are going to be like, well, I don't know if I like this. Okay? And I'll agree with you in that regard. Some people are going to be upset, but let me tell you what we're doing. Okay? So today, it is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the daytime stream. We're in Junin, or Junon, whatever, however you say it. And this area is huge. Not only do you have the area right outside the city, but then there's this whole giant open world area, and then another city to the right that we're at right now called the Crow's Nest, right? That's what it's called. And so we're doing side content there, then there's side content over there. So we got all this stuff to do today. I'm going to try to go as far as I can, and maybe we can wrap up the open world region. I really hope we can. I hope we can wrap up the open world region by the end of today. By the way, thank you, Big Ocho. 5 gifted memberships. They went to Robbie, Well Swade, Pizza Box Gaming, Pay Demand Jerry, and Iroquois Pliskin. Congratulations to the 5 of you, and thank you, Big Ocho, for the channel support this morning. Really appreciate that. That is awesome. Okay. So, let's see how Final Fantasy goes today. Like I already said, sadly, no night stream tonight. Got to do personal stuff, patron stuff. But tomorrow, I will be back with a full double stream day. The first stream will be the podcast, followed by Baldur's Gate 3. Last time we wrapped up the Magic Tower, we fought Lurican, we looted the vaults, and got the books, and we did the plotline with Gale. So now, I think we're moving into the plotline with the Hag, or the people who were like survivors of the Hag are trying to hunt down the Hag. So we're going to do that next, and then see where else it leads us, because there's a bunch more quests available in that region to do that we haven't even touched upon yet, so we're going to work on that. Tomorrow night, the late night stream will be Like a Dragon Infinite Well. We will continue to push forward into Chapter 8, try to advance the story and get more of this content unlocked, while also doing all the content for Kiryu. I'm going to be honest. I like Chapter 8 because you go back to Japan, and it's Kiryu and his own party now doing stuff, but I do feel like, sadly, some of the chapters in this game are paced poorly, and this is one of them. Why is it that some of the chapters are literally like one dungeon with some story cutscenes, and then the next chapter is like 20 hours of content all at once? That's not really balanced at all, right? I mean, Chapter 6 was the same. We hit Chapter 6, and it was like endless amount of content, and then Chapter 7 was like real fast. And then Chapter 8, giant amount of content again. And it's going to come to the point where I'm going to have to decide, do I want to do all the content in Chapter 8, or do I want to hold off to do more of it later? Because it really feels like you could do it all at once in one go if you want. Or you could just kind of space it out and do it maybe later over the course of many chapters. I'm not sure, okay? So, oh yeah, Dark Gaming says the story goes nuts in Chapter 9. You'll be done with unlocking new content. So basically everything in Chapter 8 is the content, and then Chapter 9 gets in the story. Gotcha, see? And that's what I mean. That pacing is weird. The way that they load all the content into like 2 chapters, and then there's just a story in other chapters. It's weird. Anyway, so that's tomorrow. And then Wednesday, and here's where some people are going to be upset, we're doing exactly the same thing. It's going to be more Baldur's Gate 3 and more Like a Dragon. And you might say, well, now wait a minute. Number 1, what happened to Final Fantasy? Number 2, why are you playing so much of the same games, right? Number 3, why are you playing so much Like a Dragon when no one comes by and supports those streams? Because I've actually heard that one, okay? I got a comment like that today. Why are you playing so much Like a Dragon? No one comes by and contributes at all to your streams when you play that game, right? All right, I'm going to just get that one out of the way right now, because I don't play games for money, all right? I'm a gamer. I'm a lifelong gamer. I want to relay my passion for video games in my content first. Then, after the fact, if I can make a living doing it, that's the added bonus. Yes, this very much is my business, but not every single moment that I'm doing something am I worried about making $1 doing it. You understand? Like, if that were the case, literally half the games I play, I would never finish. I would play them for a few streams, and once the hype dies down, I would just say, oh, well, sorry, go play it for yourself if you want to see the end, and I would just move on to another game. And I'm sure that there's content creators like that. How many content creators actually finished Starfield last year? I would bet probably half of them dropped it, right? But I toughed through it, and I still finished it, right? When I play games that I feel like I want to see what's coming in the game, or I'm excited for the game, or I like the game myself, I'm going to keep playing it. It doesn't matter if no one comes by and supports the stream. I'm just being honest. Like, I just like a game too much. I'm going to keep playing it. That's how I am. Now, listen, that might not be the best business decision. That might be bad business. But I'm not in this 100% to make money. And I feel like a lot of people don't get that. They think, wow, Phil makes poor business decisions, and this is why he is where he is. Well, so be it. At least I love what I do. I'm happy to come to my job every day. I have a great atmosphere with the audience that I get, right? It's a personal, chill atmosphere. This is fun, as opposed to the grind of always having to jump from popular game to popular game so I can keep printing $ for my family and me, right? It's not what it's about. So, I hope that you guys understand that. That's why I'm still playing Like a Dragon. I love the game. We have an audience for it that comes by and chills whenever I play it. It doesn't make money. You're right. But I don't care about that. Okay? Now, hold on, because I got to blow my nose. It's bothering me. Okay. So now, you might also say, well, wait, why are you playing so much of Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon right now? What happened to Final Fantasy 7? Well, let's be honest, okay? I need to focus a lot on certain games of which we are far into so that I can beat those games to focus on other games. I will never make solid progress in Final Fantasy 7 until we beat Baldur's Gate. It's that simple. I've had this game for a week and a half and I'm 17 hours in. Today will be 20 hours in, right? I'm never going to beat it. The game, everyone's saying the game's like 100 hours long. How will I ever beat it? You know, I need to finish Baldur's Gate so that we can then focus on this as the major RPG in my rotation, right? So that's the point is I have to push, okay? And I hope that you guys understand that. There's going to be a lot more Baldur's Gate in the next few weeks as I try to finish it, okay? So let's see how it goes, all right? So that's today and tomorrow and Wednesday. Thursday, I'm off from streaming. Friday is the release of the Star Wars Battlefront Classics Collection. Okay? I am wondering how to cover this game. I would like your opinions. Because my first idea was, oh, I'll just do it as Friday night to make up for Friday night fights, which I'm not doing anymore. It could have been like Friday Night Force or Friday Night Firefights or something where we play this Battlefront collection. But I was realizing it's a new game. And it's a new game. People might want to actually see it more than just a night stream. So I said, oh, maybe I'll put it on the day stream. But then what will we do for the night stream? Final Fantasy VII? Will people even show up for a night stream of Final Fantasy VII? I don't know. So then I was like, well, wait a minute. Why don't I play it all day on Friday, right? For variety. Let's do a whole day of Battlefront and then maybe not play it again till later in the week. So I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't know if I should just play it as a night stream, if I should play it as the day stream, if I should play it all day. I'm kind of conflicted on this, okay? Because if we don't do it as the day stream, then it's going to be Final Fantasy VII as the day stream on Friday, okay? So what do you guys think, honestly? And no, there's no more Friday night fights. As I said, right now, fighting games for me are on hiatus for good reason. I don't want to play fighting games right now. I'm completely burned out. I played 7 months of Street Fighter 6 and a month and a half of Tekken 8, and I'm completely tapped out of it. I don't want to play any more fighting games right now. I want to do a variety of stuff. If I'm going to do a multiplayer, I want it to be Battlefront for now, okay? So, so what do you think? See, immediately I get conflicting feedback. Final Fantasy VII during the day, Star Wars at night. 2 messages down. I'd rather see Battlefront all day rather than Final Fantasy VII. Thumbs up. It's like, well, I don't know. What do I do here? I need feedback because we got to figure this. On Friday, I'm playing the Battlefront collection. The question is, how am I covering it? And by the way, it will be all multiplayer. I'm not really interested in playing the single-player campaigns of the Battlefront collection. I know it has single-player story mode, but for me, where those games shined was the multiplayer, okay? So, I need feedback. Amplatory says, daytime Battlefront makes the most sense. Then Preem Sardine says, no, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, please. See what I mean? It's so confusing right now. Some people claim they want Final Fantasy VII, but then when I play it, we don't get a lot of viewers or support, which is weird. Now, a lot of people are clamoring for a new game. Please play Battlefront. Will people be here on Friday for Battlefront? Sarah says, play Battlefront as the first stream. If support is good, keep playing it. If not, switch to Final Fantasy VII. As much as I like that idea, Sarah, I don't like not having streams guaranteed because here's what will happen. You'll have people who will be like, oh, Final Fantasy VII at night, and then Battlefront goes well, and I say, I'm not playing it, and they're like, oh, then they're disappointed because they thought I was doing it. And they're like, well, now what are we supposed to do? We're not interested in Battlefront. You see? I like having set times and streams so people know ahead of time what's going on, and they'll be able to attend, right? Some people are saying to poll it. All right, maybe we will. Maybe the option will be Battlefront Day, Final Fantasy night, Final Fantasy Day, Battlefront night, or Battlefront all day. 3 options and see how people vote, right? Daphne says, I'd say play Star Wars all day, get your value out of the initial audience. Good point. The hype will be maximized for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically, right? And then probably within a week or two, it'll die out. What I was going to do is play Battlefront Collection as a multiplayer game every once in a while, squeeze it into the schedule for variety. Jasper. Hello, Jasper. He snuck in. He's here today, by the way. He just hasn't been in here for some reason. What's going on, Jasper? Come on up. There he is. People like to see you, buddy. When you don't come by, people are upset. People like to see Jasper Kitty. Here he comes. Here he comes. How are you, buddy? What's going on? He's been watching a lot of birds. We got a lot of birds outside. There's a ginormous raven out back today. Huge. Like seriously large. Like maybe more than half the size of his body. I couldn't believe it how big it was. We probably have a bunch of migratory birds coming through because now it's starting to warm up because it's going to be spring soon. That's probably what it is. And he loves watching the birds out back eating. We put a bowl of peanuts out and we have this suet cage that we hang on our fence. And every once in a while we put a suet block in there. And it just attracts so many birds and he loves that. Here we go. All right. So anyway, guys, I would definitely like your feedback on what to do for Friday. Essentially, Saturday will be more Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Sunday will be React Day. And then we'll just play it by ear for the rest of the week to see what we want to do in what order. If Battlefront goes well, I'll play more Battlefront. If Battlefront doesn't do so good, then we'll do more like Final Fantasy, more Baldur's Gate. We'll see. But there is going to be a focus on more Baldur's Gate and more Like a Dragon to get these games done. Okay? Cool. Oh, Jasper, you're so silly. He loves getting rubs on the side of his head. He loves getting pet back here. Loves it. Sit here on my lap all day doing this if you could. There you go. Does the filter mean you won't hear Jasper anymore? You didn't hear Jasper to begin with. He never meows in here. He literally never meows, right? So that's what I mean. Like, it's not going to be a big deal there. It'd be one thing if you could hear him all the time, but he never talks when he's in here. It's such a rarity. And, I mean, in the whole, what? How many years he's been on my streams? You've heard him meow twice. Okay. Cool. All right. So anyway, guys, that's the schedule. And FYI, 1 week from Friday will be the release of Rise of the Ronin. What do you think about that, Jasper? Are you gonna watch Rise of the Ronin? Are you gonna play it? What do you think? Say something to the mic. Say meow meow. Won't say meow meow. He's purring though. Purring. Yeah, so Rise of the Ronin, I believe, comes out 1 week from Friday. And then I don't know about Alone in the Dark. I'm on the fence about it. I want more information about it. We're still waiting, and they're still not announcing anything about it. It's like, are you ever going to talk about this game? So I'm definitely interested in it. So, but we'll see what happens, okay? All right, so that's what's going on right now. That's what I have ideas for the schedule. I really need feedback about how to cover Battlefront on Friday. Please let me know. It's time for news, and today's news is heavily focused on one game because it's the only news I have. MultiVersus. MultiVersus has returned after being gone for about a year. If you remember the way that MultiVersus worked, 2 summers ago, it released as a free-to-play early access beta. And you could sink money into it if you wanted. But really, you didn't have to. It was just a game that was basically a platformer fighter, similar to Smash Brothers. And it featured characters that were basically all licensed by Warner's Brothers. So, Looney Tunes characters, Scooby-Doo, Adventure Time, right? The Iron Giant, Warner Brothers superheroes For example, DC Comics, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, that kind of stuff. And more, there's tons of these characters, and it was good. I played it, and I really liked it. I sunk a good amount of time into it. I actually got pretty good at it, right? I was playing at a pretty decent level, and I was getting lots of wins, and it was a really fun game to play. And in fact, more characters kept releasing. If you remember, Gizmo and Spike and these other expansion characters were being added over and over. I was like, wow, this game's really, really good. Eventually, what ended up happening was you guys didn't like it as much. I wanted to keep playing it. But basically, the feedback I got from you was, we've been there, done that. We've seen it. It was cool for the first few weeks. But after a couple of months of it, it was more of the same over and over. And people were disappointed and were like, don't play it anymore. So that's actually why I stopped playing it. It wasn't because I got bored of it. It's because you guys did. So then what ended up happening was it continued, and they kept updating it. They kept adding characters, but the interest kind of waned after a while. Admittedly, it wasn't really being talked about as much anymore. And then all of a sudden, the game turned off, which was pretty unprecedented. I think a lot of people were under the impression that the game was going to continue to be, going until it actually had a full release. Well, no. It was last year. They just decided on a certain day, we're just turning it off. Come back later for, more info for when we're actually going to release it when it's ready. And everyone was like, whoa, now, how's that going to affect the community? Because actually, MultiVersus had a good community. 2 Evos ago, it was one of the highest viewed games. And had a ginormous prize pool to promote it, of course. And the game had a great community for a while. And then to have them just turn the game off like that is unprecedented. Usually when you have an early access fighting game or something, they'll just let it roll till it comes out. So people are like, what's going to happen? We don't know. And the game's essentially been completely radio silent for about a year. So people just kind of forgot about it. They moved on. They're playing other games. I mean, let's be honest. Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, not Mortal Kombat 1. No one cares about that. But Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, those games are getting ginormous amounts of attention and support, but not, no one's talking about MultiVersus anymore, And all of a sudden, a few days ago, MultiVersus started posting on their Twitter again for the first time in about a year. And everyone was like, oh, really? Is MultiVersus coming back? I wonder what's going to happen. Yes. So today, a big video was released by the designer Tony. He came out and he says, listen, huge update. Finally, we're ready to reveal the real game to all of you. Here's the deal. Number 1, new graphical engine. They upgraded to Unreal 5, so the game is going to look better than it did when it was in the early access a couple years ago. That's number 1. Number 2, gameplay tweaks. They basically made it so the game will play smoother. Cool. Number 3, new characters. And the one that they've teased now is Marvin the Martian from Looney Tunes is going to be in it at launch. Okay. Number 4, player versus enemy gameplay, PvE. So unlike the release before, which was pretty much all multiplayer, there are going to be modes that are going to be PvE now, so you'll have stuff to do offline as well as online. That's cool. And the biggest announcement that I was not expecting, it's coming out May, is it 28th? So it's the very end of May, and it's still free. And everyone's like, huh? Still? Because the whole idea was they were probably taking it offline to add a bunch of content, and then when it came back, they were going to charge for it. But apparently, it's still free. Now, how's that going to work? What's their monetization model here, right? There's never been a true free-to-play fighting game. They've all had ways to make money, so how is this going to work? I mean, let's be honest. The licensing alone is probably expensive for this game. They need to make money, so what is it? Is it going to be rife with microtransactions? Is it going to be, oh, it's free at launch, but then if you want any of the expansion characters, you have to buy them with money. You can't even earn them in a game. You have to buy them, right? That could be. The way I could see it is they could basically have a ton of really neat, like, microtransaction content that's optional. Like, for example, imagine if there's like 20, 30 outfits for each character, or complete color swapping for the characters, but you have to buy it with real money. That could make the game a lot of money. It could. And you know what? As long as it's not a pay-to-win model, then I'd be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not pay to win. I don't want, pay money and now your character has buffs or you have a different version of the character no one else can play with. I want it to be, hey, pay money and then get like cool customizables or something. I'm okay with that. All right. Just as long as it's not necessary. If you could just play the base game and still earn the same stuff or whatever. That's another thing too, because the Street Fighter V was literally the biggest scam, and here's why. When Street Fighter V released many years ago, they advertised it as, the first fighting game ever where you won't have to pay for expansion characters. All you gotta do is play the game, and you'll earn the in-game currency, and you can unlock the expansion characters for free. The whole thing was a lie. If you played the game non-stop and never stopped playing, you couldn't earn enough currency to buy the characters. The characters are so expensive, and the rate of earning the currency was so low that there was no way to actually do it realistically. You had to pay for the characters at some point to really unlock them. So I hope that that's not the case, that it's free, but hey, if you want any content down the road, realistically, you're going to have to pay money because there's really no way to earn anything in-game. There you go. Zen Shuriken says he will only play the Mindy Kaling skin for Velma. There you go. Actually, Velma was one of my better characters. Remember that? I actually was pretty good with Velma in the game. But anyway, I loved the game. When it comes out in May, I want to try it again. Now, I get the feeling here's what's going to happen. First couple weeks of playing will probably be neat. It'll be fun to jump back in and play with characters I've already used, to try new characters. But what's going to end up happening is you guys are going to be probably bored of it again. And I can't make you like platform fighters. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. I can't just make you like a Smash Brothers game because everyone said, it's a Smash Brothers clone. I was like, well, it's not. Really what it is, it's a more basic version of Smash. It's not as complex, but it focuses more in on the core gameplay mechanics rather than the complexities of Smash, which has a million things all thrown in at once. It's a more simplified version, but it's very fun. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this game. We'll have to see. All right, when it comes out, I'm excited for it. I hope that you will check it out and watch me play it, but I guess we'll have to see. Okay? Good. So there you go. And thanks for listening to my little spiel here about it. But I guess we'll be talking about it more and more as we get closer to the end of May. I'm interested in checking it out. Okay? All right, cool. That's the news for today. What is this? We're on the wrong thing. Like, what the hell is that? Okay. So that's really it. There's really no other news or anything going on today. Like, that's currently what's happening. And I hope that all sounds good to you guys. I guess what we will do, let's get to shout-outs and do some shout-outs and then see what you guys want to talk about for the rest of the show before we get to Final Fantasy today. Right? Cool. So, hold on a second. I misclicked. So did I shout out all these gifted memberships? No, I didn't. I want 672 gifted a membership to Fed Roger. So thank you to Lucky Gremlin for 10 gifted memberships. Thank you to 672 for the 1 gifted membership. And thank you to Big Ocho for the 5 gifted memberships. Those are very nice. That will help, you know. And, you know, building this channel back up with real memberships is going to be a daunting task after what we went through in the last 2 months. But thank you so very much for that. I really appreciate that. And I hope that the people who were gifted those memberships will enjoy it. Okay? So, by the way, Evil LJSRK says, off topic, I'm sad you're going to stop playing Tekken 8, but I understand the decision. You're nowhere near your peak. I think if you focused on learning instead of grinding, it'd be more enjoyable. Well, that's the point. Sadly, I don't have time. I'm someone who 6 days a week, for the majority of the day, is here in this office broadcasting. And I'm broadcasting a variety of stuff. If I was an FGC streamer and I was just focused on, you know, Tekken, you're absolutely right. But I'm not. That's what a lot of these, I hate to say it, morons on the internet don't get, especially those who criticize me. And they're like, oh, you see, Phil has a scrub mentality. He says that there's a lot of button mashing or whatever, because there is. Because the difference between what I see and what an FGC player sees is within a certain amount of time, you can only learn so much, correct? Let's be honest. If I'm going to get better at Tekken 8, I would have to grind a lot. Not only playing online, but I call it, when I say grind, What I feel, it's time investment in order to finally get a payout. When you grind in an RPG, you're doing a lot of repetitive combat, leveling, but then it's going to pay out later, correct? So when I say grind, I don't mean, oh, just online play. I mean learning, like you're suggesting. Going online, studying, going into training mode, studying, all that studying. That's what I don't have time for, okay? Because I'm a variety dude. I'm a variety streamer. I'm not an FGC streamer that's just sitting here playing fighting games all day. I don't even have an audience for it. Like, if I did those things on stream, people would absolutely hate it. They'd be like, what is this boring stuff? Go right back online and play more people and lose a million times. That's their mentality, you know? So, sadly, that's the situation where, like, people say, oh, Phil's a scrub or whatever. No. What it is I'm not an FGC person anymore. I used to be. I used to be in that mentality. I totally get what people say when they're like, oh, the only way you're going to get better at Tekken is to go and do the replays and study those replays. And you got to go watch a bunch of these other, things and everything. It's like, I can't do that. I just don't have the means and the time. I'm someone who's maintaining a life and a business. I'm not just an FGC head like they are. So I just find that funny that people will do things like criticize me and make videos and laugh at how bad it is what he says in the video. You're not understanding. I'm not you. I'm not in the FGC. This isn't my focus. This isn't even my hobby. This is one part of a many-faceted thing that's my business, and I have to weigh and balance what's worth investing time into. For Tekken, I've reached the limit. You know what I mean? And it is unfortunate, because I love Tekken 8. I know it's a great game, and I know that if I invested enough time into character knowledge, I would be beating all the things that are spammably abusable online. That's why purple is not the highest rank. There's blue and yellow past that for people who have the knowledge and have surpassed that level because they can stop the spam. But I don't have time for that. That's why I stopped playing it. So I appreciate you saying that. I agree with you. I definitely know that if I were to focus on Tekken more and put more time into it, I could get better. I agree with you. But I just don't see the payoff. Again, if I were an FGC player, an FGC head who's into it, and I was going to eventually grind more content out, right? Oh, here's higher level content for everyone, and people like it, and I go to tournaments and I perform. None of that's going to happen. My audience isn't for it. I'm not going to go to tournaments. I don't care. So it's like, at what point do you finally cut off the investment? It's like, right now. This is it. Like, there's no point in continuing with Tekken because I'm never going to get better without too much of a sacrifice of my time from other things, and it's not worth it. There won't be a rewarding, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You know what I mean? It's just not. I know it. People are already bored of Tekken. The streams are getting way less people, less support. I mean, Friday Night Fights had one tip from Jax Raxer. That's literally it. No one else cared about it. So why am I still playing this game for, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, on the tip side of stuff, we start today with a $10 tip. Oh, the FGC, here's the thing. The FGC likes to have people they laugh at, right? Toxic. LTG is definitely the big one, but I'm like number 2 or number 3, all right? So what they do is they take all my content and they take it out of context, and then they say, oh, see, this is what Phil is. So they'll take, like, my Friday Night Fight stream of Tekken 8, and they'll ignore the fact that I'm playing the game at a pretty good level, that I've got pretty good reads on these characters, that I've got pretty good fundamentals and stuff. And instead, they'll just focus on the fact that I fight someone and they literally spam the same move the whole round, and I freak out about it and I lose my cool. And, oh, you see, that's the scrub mentality that you just can't beat the one move and blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you talking about? No, it's not that. It's not that I'm saying that the game is bad. What I'm saying is the game is expecting you to study it so much that this is now your thing. I don't have time for that, With fighting games, what it used to be was you had to have a level of execution and skill so that if you were going to get wins, you would have to actually be good. Now, you don't have to be good to even get wins in a fighting game because everything's such low execution that you could just mash the fucking same 2-3 moves. You don't have to think. I'm either going to do this move or this move. I'll just alternate the two. And you get wins online. And then what someone has to do is study the game to say, how do I beat those 2 abusable moves online? And then when they study, they can, okay, here's the situation. And by the way, there's no universal. It's not like do the one thing. Every character, it's a different answer. With Paul, you got to do this. With Yoshimitsu, you got to do this. With Nina, you got to do this. So it's like, what the hell is this? It's like, I have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of Tekken to get past a certain level that's not even considered a good level. And that, for me, is too much of an investment of time. Now, do you think that they put what I just said, which I've already said, into their videos about me making fun of me? No. They won't analyze it at a high level because that makes their narrative bad. The narrative is Phil's a buffoon. Let's make fun of him and laugh at him. He's a joke in the FGC. The joke's on them because I'm not part of the FGC. I've said it 5,000 times. I'm not part of their community. So when they bring it up and they analyze it from their perspective, it doesn't make sense. I'm not an FGC player. I haven't been in over a decade. I took myself out of that community because I didn't want to put up with their bullshit, you know? Anyway, looking tan? No, it's the lighting. It's the different backgrounds. Like if I change my background right now, makes me look different. Now I don't look tan anymore. Now I look pale, right? It all depends on the background lighting. See that? Makes me look completely different. It's just my skin tone compared to the background light makes me look different. So today I'm using orange. So I actually look tan compared to the backlighting. So there you go. Okay. So I received a $10 tip. I forgot to read it. Let me do this now. From Sven Gunner. Thank you, Sven Gunner, for the first tip of the day. $10. And Sven says, a little support for the channel. I've been at home sick with the flu, so I'm watching your Heavy Rain throwback videos all afternoon today. Very entertaining. Thank you. I'm glad you're finding them entertaining. I love doing that project. I think that the retro React stuff is probably one of the better ideas I've had in years. People are really enjoying it. And I can't wait to do other games, too. I know Heavy Rain's the popular one right now. But honestly, I can't wait to jump into other games, too, and re-experience those with everybody. I think it's going to be really fun moving forward. So thank you very much for that. The first tip of the day. And now let's see if I can get anything to refresh here. Yeah, oh, my nose. Okay, as of now, nothing else to shout out yet. Okay, but I will do any shout outs for any other contributions this morning. In the meantime, let's do some Q&A. I really don't feel like doing a suggestion box today. I don't think we have enough time. So, excuse me. If you guys have any questions for me, please tag me in the chat. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. Okay? No, FGC is not everyone that plays fighting games. That's absolutely ridiculous. The FGC or fighting game community is a community based around more invested enjoyment in fighting games. It definitely includes everyone who plays them at any kind of a competitive level, but there is a casualized grouping as well that's actually grown in the last 10 years. I'd say since Street Fighter 4 and then Street Fighter 5 and 6, you've had this more casualized grouping of people who don't really care about being high tournament level players, but they still very much enjoy fighting games and are a part of that community as well. I'm not part of that community. I want you to understand that. I'm not. Nor do I want to be. I don't want to be judged against other fighting game players and their content. I don't make content for the FGC at all. Like, literally, I wouldn't argue that any of the content I've put out of Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8 is for the FGC. It's more for me and my audience as outsiders, but still trying to look in at what fighting games have become. It's a lot different perspective for sure. Okay? What's my McDonald's breakfast order? I like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, says Tub Tubs. I don't know. I haven't had McDonald's breakfast in years. I wouldn't even know what I would order. I don't like their biscuits. Their biscuits are dry. I don't like their biscuits at all. I used to love their bagel sandwiches. When I started on YouTube many years ago, and it was a regular thing that in the morning I would get up and drive to GameStop to get my new games in the morning because they didn't even do midnight releases. You had to be there in the morning on release day to get them around 10 a.m. I would go to McDonald's first because there was a McDonald's in the same parking lot as the GameStop. And I would always get one of their breakfast bagel sandwiches. And basically, I would get like bacon, egg, and cheese, Sometimes I would even get the steak, egg, and cheese, which is incredibly bad for you. It was always insanely dripping of grease. But that was what I would always get. In when I went to McDonald's in the morning. But that's the last time I regularly got McDonald's for breakfast. I don't even know what they have today. So I couldn't even tell you what I would order if I were to go there. Would I consider leaving a stream on with music and slideshows so my community can chat tonight? No, because here's sadly the problem about that is because of the trolling that I get. What would happen is immediately trolls would take advantage of that. They would know, hey, Phil's not going to be there, and likely no mods either. So they would just come and they would take over the chat and be stupid. So I can't do that. Every time that I turn on my stream, we have to be monitoring the chat for trolls coming in there, saying racist things, sexist things, insulting me and my family members, doxing myself and other viewers and family members, all this kind of shit. So you can't just turn it on. Sadly, they'll come in here and take advantage. It sucks because I know it's an idea. Some other streamers do that, but a lot of streamers do. They'll turn on, if they can't be there live, they'll turn on a stream and do a rerun. They'll actually just replay their old stuff and people can interact and talk in the chat live with it. But I can't do that because I would need to have full-time mods there to take care of it for me, which I can't do. Okay? Okay. Does all that really happen? Well, let's see. Before we had subscriber-only mode here on YouTube chat, literally the chat was nonstop bot spam. Bots that would come in and just paste fucked up things in the chat. And it would be non-stop. And the mods would go crazy trying to take care of it. And it would just come back the next 5 minutes. Come back the next 5 minutes. I mean, hell, last night on my throwback stream, the same person had, I'm not exaggerating, probably about 40 accounts that they kept coming back and doing doxing and shit in the chat. And luckily, I have enough filters and stuff in place that it stopped it. And then I was just manually banning this person over and over. Here I am trying to actually do a stream, and I got to deal with that shit, And that was on the stream with the moderation and everything going on. Can you imagine if there was no one looking at the chat? That's the problem. I can't just let stuff auto. The only way I'd be able to do this stream like that is to have the chat off. Now, what's the point of streaming if there's no chat? Right? Exactly. Okay. I received a $25 tip. One Minute Man is following up on yesterday's dialogue about Baldur's Gate 3's non-aggressive dialogue options. Let's see what he has to say, but let's get the tip up on the leaderboard first. And by the way, I would like to say thanks to everyone who comes by and hangs out on the podcast every day. Like, no lie, right now we have over 400 viewers for the podcast, which I think is a great audience for the podcast every day. I really enjoy having this many of you here. That will dip when I start the game. It literally will. We will lose hundreds of viewers when I start the game. That's what I keep telling people. I really feel like the future for me is more of this kind of content. Me talking, interacting, answering questions, sharing opinions on various topics, as opposed to me just sitting here playing games all day. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to give up on the games, and there will be games that'll get a lot more attention. Right now, we're in RPG mania, and that's why the attention has dwindled. But definitely, I think the future is going in another direction. I see that. Okay, so 1 Minute Man says, let me clarify, the purpose of choosing non-aggressive dialogue options is not to avoid challenges and make the game easy. It may seem like this if you consider yourself a hammer and view others as nails. Rather, challenges now become resisting the urge of instant gratification of combat and looting, instead of thinking ahead and viewing others as possible future allies, just like the marshmallow test. In reality, I don't think of it like that at all. Want to know why? Because I don't think the combat in the game is quick and easy at all. I don't see it like you said, oh, it's instant gratification just to kill everything. I don't see it that way because every fight is so complex in Baldur's Gate. I don't think there's a simple fight where it's just clear the room easily and move on, right? I don't see it that way at all. Maybe the few times that I did see it that way, it backfired, i.e., Volo, right? where I thought, oh, this is a simple fight. Let's kill these people, and then we'll just go free Volo. And the next thing I know, he's dead. The card exploded or whatever it was, right? Which I didn't even realize was happening. So I actually don't see it like that, but I understand what you're saying, where you're coming from. Thank you for the tip. Okay. Man Baby Gaming, what a name, says, what's the highest amount tip I've ever gotten? I want to say, and this, I could be wrong, I want to say the largest tip I've ever received ever in history was $2,000. And I think that was several years ago. Probably like 3-4 years ago, right? It was either during my late Twitch days or my early YouTube days. I want to say it was during my late Twitch days, during like one of my marathons or something like that. So yeah, but the thing is, I don't track that stuff, so I really don't know. I could be completely wrong. There might have actually been a bigger one, and I don't remember. Though for me, the moments that resonate are the awesome hangout moments, the awesome gameplay moments, the awesome times we have together with the streaming, and not the contributions that come in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't remember, honestly, what the biggest contribution has been. Dark Gaming says, I think you didn't notice the countdown timer on the side of the screen that said 3 minutes to save Volo. I didn't see that at all. I literally didn't see that whatsoever. No, I must have missed it. I mean, let's be honest. Baldur's Gate 3 is a very busy game. There's 700 menus going on at once on every screen. So I probably didn't even notice it. Oh, yes. Preem Sardine says, do you remember the Emerald 7 gift sub bombs? That was a hype moment from Twitch. Yeah. When Emerald 7 came by on Twitch and he gifted like 1,000 maximum tier memberships. It was insane. Because those memberships are expensive. Weren't they like $15 or something like that? So he gifted an insane amount. And of course, that helped me a ton. I have to tell you guys, I'm so grateful for like the years of 2020, 2021. That was when I was going through my bankruptcy and everything. And I had like no money because of everything that was going on. And the support I got was amazing. It basically pushed me through that time very positively. So thanks to so many who supported me back then. It's really nice. No, you guys have to understand something. Twitch takes a giant cut of everything. So if it was like 1,000 maximum tier subs, I got half of whatever it should have been, because Twitch takes a ton. But no, I did. I got that, and that helped a ton back then. You know, many years ago. I mean, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago at this point now. I'm sure Twitch was happy about that. No. Why would I even care about that? Noct says, do I see something like the vest streak ever coming back? What? First of all, the vest streak wasn't something I had planned for. It wasn't something I had asked for. It just kind of happened naturally, right? It was organic. What makes you think anything like that would ever happen again? I don't think so. You know, the thing like that is it's a one-time thing. And then after that, you can't replicate that because the magic is already gone. The one-time streak is over, you know? Is that even true? Jernbike says, at least there's no chargeback on YouTube Super Chats, unlike in Twitch. I didn't even know Twitch has chargebacks. I didn't even know that. I had no clue about that at all. I don't think I ever had them when I was on Twitch. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I ever was affected by like a chargeback on Twitch for like a subscription or a membership. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong and I didn't notice it. I don't think so. But no, I've never I've never had that problem on here. When you're gonna ask me if I'm gonna do a collab stream, you have to understand I don't even know what you're talking about. Like I don't know who that person is. Nor no, I would never do a collab stream because no one would ever want to collab with me. And it's not because of me, it's because of my trolls. If it weren't for the insane amount of trolls that harass everyone associated with me, I probably would have collab streams and stuff, you know? I wouldn't mind every once in a while doing a stream where someone else jumps on, we talk topics, you know, play a game, stuff like that. But no one, literally no one would ever want to do that with me because of the trolling aspect of it. So no. The Blimp says, can you confirm you're 100% going magic for the Elden Ring DLC? Melania and Michaela are rumored to be returning. You heard when Melania was bloody epic? No, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the beauty of Elden Ring is you can respec at any time. So likely what we'll do is start the DLC, and when I get a first weapon, whatever the first weapon is, I might go respec to use it and see what the weapon is and try out a new weapon and then go from there. What? Really? I received another $5 tip from 1 Minute Man. He says, I almost forgot. There's some breaking news. You won't believe this. What's happening to you in real life will actually happen to your character in the Baldur's Gate 3. Trolls will actually try to ruin your reputation in the city. They're going to publish a hit piece in the local newspaper. What the heck? Well, that's funny. There's actually a plot line where someone tries to smear you in the newspaper. Well, that would be a first for a video game, I think, right? Well, there you go. I guess we'll see that coming soon. Excellent. Thank you for the tip again, 1 Minute Man. Okay. It's one of the coolest Act 3 quests. When does it happen? Because we're pretty far into Act 3 right now, right? I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Eternal did for the first super chat of the day. And he says, 672 has stolen all of my beats. That's awful. 672, I demand that you return all of Eternal's beats immediately. And they better all have... They all better all be intact. And none of them better have been skinned or bitten into. Or boiled. Oh, really? Dark Gaming says that only happens if you talk to the journalist at the very start of the city area. You didn't, so it won't come up. I didn't? I thought I did. Well, I talked to the newspaper boys. Remember that? I did talk to them. But I guess you're saying there's an actual journalist and I missed them? Oh. Mr. Louis Casino says, I'm watching your Control playthrough to prepare for Alan Wake 2. Do you mean you're going to watch my Alan Wake 2 playthrough? There are some connections there. There are. There's not a ton of direct connections, but there are some connections, and you will get some background by watching Control first. But sadly, I never got around to playing the Control Alan Wake crossover DLC. There was a whole DLC dealing with how Alan Wake was connected with Control, and I never played it, which really stinks. I wish I did. No, I think I did talk to a journalist. Because people are saying it was a dark tiefling girl. No, I swear I talked to that person. I swear I did. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Because that was right outside the... Yeah, that's right. It was right outside the newspaper office, correct? And didn't I do like a mission or two there? So I think I did talk to them. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. At this point, there's with Baldur's Gate 3, they literally made the game so complex with so many moving parts, so many quests, so many things at all times. It's like impossible to keep track of them all, to even know what you've done or haven't done, right? Like it really is. It's like I don't know. I mean, Act 3 started for me what, 20 hours ago or more? Because wasn't it like the very end of it was like the very end of the 80 to 90 hour mark when we finished Act 2 and we headed into the Act 3 area, right? And first it was the outskirts. First we had the mission. Well, first we had to save the Emperor. Then we got to the outskirts town, which wasn't Baldur's Gate, but the town Rivington or whatever. And that was a couple of streams. Then we went up the road or whatever and explored and then found the way into Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's been like 5-6 streams, right? It's just insane. It's one of those games that's so big in scope that like it's so hard to keep track of what you're doing, you know? So I guarantee you there's like a million unfinished things that I don't recall. I received another $10 tip from 69. Let's get those Gunna glasses. Thank you very much to 69 for a $10 tip. Indeed. It's time for the Gunners. Thanks to you. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, Tubs, we went into the sewers and we cleared them early. Like, that was the first thing I did when I actually hit the real Baldur's Gate area, is I somehow ended up in the sewers, and we went down there and killed, like, a whole bunch of stuff. And people were like, why are you here so early? You should have done all the actual city quests first and then went into the sewers. And I was like, just kind of turned out that way. Again, that's how the game is, right? There's so much to do. You stumble into stuff and you end up doing it. You don't know if you're doing it in the right order, and sometimes it doesn't really matter. I think what happened, what people were like, so basically, because I did the sewers first, now they don't even know how that's going to tie into other quests, because I guess there's quests that want you to go to the sewers, but we've already done the stuff down there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Did I ever have any coworkers I got along well with at my office job? Yes. I had a few coworkers that I would have considered at that point in my life close friends. I actually attended one of their weddings. Yeah. But like everything in life, there's a falling out. And what happened was when I got laid off, right? And I leaned heavy into YouTube because that was my job, my full-time job now. I basically put all my efforts in and I just lost touch with them all. A few of them I continued to contact and talk with and connect on Facebook and text from time to time. And then after the time, you lose touch, and that was that. Okay. Any other questions or anything for me, guys? If you tag me in the chat, we got a little bit of extra time before the show adjourns for today. I want to say thanks for the early support. I really appreciate that. Again, this is my only stream for today, so any support is very much appreciated because I'm not doing a late stream tonight. And I'll be honest, usually when I start with Final Fantasy VII, there's almost no support for the rest of the stream. So I'm appreciative of the early support. Thank you for that. Why is there so much negativity surrounding me? Because for the last 10 plus years, people have found it very profitable and beneficial to make me a laughingstock on the internet because it's become a meme for various reasons. It started off with his gameplay sucks. Then it started off with his attitude sucks. Then it was, oh, the quality of his stuff sucks. Then it was, oh, all this stuff in his personal life that has nothing to do with anything. Let's expose that. Let's fuck with that. Then it became, let's make conspiracy theories about him and push them as facts so that way people will continue to laugh and make fun of him. And all the while, people getting views, people making money, people making out by making fun of me. That's why. If there was no profitability or popularity to be made doing it, no one would do it. They do it for personal gain because they know that there's no way that a little guy like me can sue for defamation. So they just continue to do it, and I just roll along and ignore them. That's the truth. You're going to play Alan Wake 2 yourself? That's cool, Louis Casino. Alan Wake 2 is a great game. I think you'll like it. What's for dinner tonight? I don't know. Yes, I'm aware that you can travel between regions at the Chocobo Ranches, but I don't know why I would do that because I did all the content. Like, I already did everything in the grasslands, so there's, like, no reason to go back to the grasslands, right? Jasper just made some noise. I was like, what's that? Hadley, at what point do you think that I would talk to you about major life goals on a podcast stream? Like, let's say I actually did have major life goals that are personal and based on what my wife and I want to do with our lives and our futures. Why would I tell you that on a podcast stream? Exactly. Wouldn't that be like my own business? Why are you asking me questions like that? This isn't like a job interview or anything. You understand that, right? This is a podcast. I'm just hanging out with you guys. I don't need to tell you about my big aspirations of my life for the rest of my life, you know. Parasolo says, oh no, please tell us so that the trolls can then go out of their way to ruin their plans. There you go. How old is Jasper? We're not exactly sure. When we rescued him, we were told he probably was between 2.5 to 3.5 years old, but there was no record of his birth, so they didn't know. And, you know, we've had him for many years, so we estimate that he's probably around 8-ish, maybe. He could be like 7, he could be like 9. Like, there's an age range that we're not sure. But he's definitely middle-aged. He's a middle-aged cat at this point. I could have just said I didn't want to answer your question. That's exactly what I did, Hadley. That's exactly what I did, if you didn't notice. When I take a piss, do I do it directly into the bowl or on the wall so it doesn't make noise? It depends. Sometimes I piss in the water. Sometimes I piss on the wall. Sometimes I aim to try to get stuff. Like, you know, sometimes stuff's caked on your toilet, and you're like, oh. So you pee on it to try to get it to uncake, so that way you don't have to clean it after. And sometimes you pee in the sink just for fun. And then sometimes you pee in the top tank as well. What? Wait, huh? Of course you do. That's right. But the one thing you never do, you never pee sitting down. Because people like us, who we have like humongous, throbbing, manly members. Whenever you sit down in the toilet like that and you go to pee, it goes in the water. And now it's like, oh, now the head is touching the water and there's pee in there. And that's disgusting and dangerous. Cause infection. You know what I'm saying? You never do. Of course. The worst. There's nothing worse than sitting down in the toilet and then your member hits the water. Like, oh, why am I so big? I hate this. It's so uncomfortable. Oh my God. Can we stop having these discussions now? Thank you. Let's stop with this nonsense. It's incredibly disturbing. Oh my God. Lord Prince Albert would have loved the segment. Actually, I think he wrote the segment. I disagree. Han Solo says, I mean this respectfully. I think you're one of the most interesting people on YouTube. I think that's why someone asked about your life goals in the podcast. I hope you have a great day. I disagree. I don't think I'm that interesting of a guy. I never have. But other people, I guess, disagree. But I think I'm just a guy who, like, never had any intention of doing anything important on the internet. All I wanted to do was just toss a few stupid videos, have a laugh, never take anything seriously. Here we are 16 plus years later, right? And look at where I am. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here to have fun and ride it out and enjoy and play games and, you know, just have a good, relaxing time with you guys. That's all I really give a shit about. I don't care. All this other stuff is just nonsense that I just don't pay any attention to, nor will I ever. I don't care. You know? When I did care and I got angry about it, it didn't benefit anything, right? Like when This Is How You Don't Play started and I reacted poorly to it. Oh, well, you reacted badly to it because, you shouldn't have done that. You should have rode with it or whatever. Okay. So now there's tons of negativity about me for insane conspiracies and crazy shit. So I ignore it. And now people are like, you're doing the wrong thing. You should really be paying attention to all this stuff. It's like, wait, what? When I paid attention to it, I did the wrong thing. Now that I ignore it, I'm also doing the wrong thing. So how about I just do my thing and everyone just shuts the fuck up, right? Because I don't care. I really don't. Let them all make their fucking insane, conspiracy theory videos, their stupid 2-hour documentaries that rehash the exact same topics over and over that are still bullshit. I don't care. I just don't give a shit. How tall am I? 5'11". Exactly right. There is no winning. For me, there's no winning. There's only surviving and maintaining. I will never win because there's no way to win when the entire internet is so ignorant that they don't spend any time to do any kind of legitimate research and everyone's always out for themselves and personal benefit, right? Like, I'll give you an example. It benefits people more to laugh at something that's a group meme than to research it to realize what it really is, right? You might have actually laughed at a meme that you thought was funny, but if you took 5 seconds to research it, you'd actually find out it's a really fucked up thing. And you're like, oh shit, I laughed at that, thought it was funny at first, but now I know the true story behind it. That's pretty messed up, actually, and I shouldn't have done that. That's actually pretty bad, right? But no one does that. It's easier to just laugh at the meme. And that's my life. My life is a meme that people have invented on the internet to laugh at and benefit from laughing at, but they don't take 5 seconds to do research into the real me or who I am or what I do or what I stand for. That's just, to them, doesn't matter. It doesn't even exist, right? So since that's the case, why care about them? I don't. I don't. I care about you guys on my stream every day. That's about it. The thing is, like, what I've seen in my life, especially since I've been on YouTube, is that it's like this, okay? It's peaks and valleys, a wave. Sometimes you're in a high and things are going real well, and sometimes it goes down, and sometimes it goes up, and sometimes it goes down like this. This is how it's been the whole time. Right now, it's like, for the people who like me, things are going good. I mean, yeah, views are down right now because I'm playing a lot of RPGs, but things are still fine. If anything, at a time when kind of the gaming world is a little stagnant, like I feel it is right now, okay? The fact that I'm still maintaining and doing well, it's a good sign. My personal life is great, right? Look at all this good improvements and things we're making around here. Everything's been good. But there's a whole other side to that of public appearance. Oh, he's horrible and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? How can you... I just sit here all day just playing games and just having a good time and not taking stuff so seriously and everything. And then people out there are just like, oh, he's the devil. Like, what? Where do you even get that from? Right? None of it makes any sense. Really, none of it makes any sense. And that's why I don't care. If it doesn't make logical sense, then I don't pay attention to it. And people who aren't into the whole YouTube meme mentality, people who don't jump on hate bandwagons, who see it from an outside perspective and look objectively, they look at it and they're like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Who are these fucking losers on the internet who just pile on this guy? Right? Like, who gives a shit? Oh, stupid nose. Hope it doesn't bother me today. I was all right, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get congestion. I'm like, oh, I hate that. But hopefully it won't bother you guys so much because, again, with the new filters on the mic, you probably won't hear a lot of the annoying bodily functions that I usually do. Right? Certainly now you won't. I mean, you guys never heard it before, but you definitely won't hear me farting now. It's funny because I swear I know there's some nights, like after dinner, where I ate something that has like cheese, and I'm on here, and I'm surprised that you guys don't think I'm like Dalsim levitating because I have so much gas coming out of my ass that it's like yoga fart teleportation and shit. You know what I mean? Like I should be like yoga, but you guys never say a word about it. So you must not hear it, right? And that was before the filters. So now with the filters, you'll definitely never hear it. Am I lactose intolerant? No. I am. I don't know what the term is. Look, I can eat lactose. People who are truly lactose intolerant, when they eat lactose, they actually get sick. Okay? I don't get sick from eating lactose, but I get bloating, gas, and discomfort depending on the type. So, for example, if I eat cheese, I'm usually okay, but if I eat too much cheese, then I get the gas and the bloating. If I drink milk, yeah, usually that gets me. And if I eat yogurt, oh no, yogurt's the worst. Whatever it is, those live cultures, I can't handle them. I actually get pain and discomfort from eating yogurt. It's real bad in that case. So yeah, it's not like, because I know people who are truly lactose intolerant, they literally can't eat it. They eat it and they get sick. They have to like vomit it up or whatever. I'm not like that. Jade, what's going on? He's here. He says, can Red and the girls be in a team today? Yeah, I think we could build that team. I don't think we've done that yet, have we? Sure. Would I ever consider getting a co-host? No, considering the fact that I broadcast live out of my office, I wouldn't have the ability to have a co-host in here. And I like the fact that I control the show, meaning, for example, if I had a co-host, now you're adding in a variable. What if things go wrong with the co-host? Now I can't do my show, right? I wouldn't mind long-term if there was someone who I liked bouncing topics off of, that eventually maybe I could have, they come into the show a couple times a week and we have some discussions of things back and forth. I wouldn't mind that, as long as it's someone I trust and we could do it quick over the internet and it wasn't always dependable to be a part of the show. Like, let's say we had someone who, I don't know, Tuesdays and Sundays, they call in and we have like open conversation back and forth about stuff going on. Like, that would be nice, I think. But it would have to be someone someone who I trust, someone dependable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That hasn't really happened. You know what I mean? But no, there would be not a physical co-host to my show. I would not want this show to be dependent on someone else. I want it to be in my control so I can do it every day consistently. See? Hold on. I could turn my show into a Wheel of Fortune type show because I have good charisma. You want me to run a game show? You want me to run an internet game show? Cool. I don't know what kind of prizes I could give out. Is there any chance that I would replay Resident Evil 2 Remake because my playthrough was cool? See, here's the thing. The game's absolutely outstanding. I'm serious. I still believe it's the best remake ever made. It seriously was that good of a game. I feel like that game is better than the original Resident Evil 2. But I played it on the hardest difficulty. So I've literally done the hardest challenge possible in the game. And it was really, really rough to get through. So I don't think there's a reason to go back. Like, I will never top the original run. You know what I'm saying? Kind of similarly, what just happened with Resident Evil 0, right? I went back and I had already played it on the hardest difficulty. I tried it again and it just wasn't fun. And I ended up soft locking myself at the end. And it's like, what did I do that for, right? What was the point? There really was none. It was more of a time killer than anything. It wasn't better than the original or anything. You know what I mean? So... Okay. All right, guys, I think it's time to end the show. All right, and get ready here for Final Fantasy VII stream today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Tomorrow, I don't know what we'll talk about. I literally have no idea what our topics will be tomorrow. I guess we'll see. But I thank you all. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for those who early supported the stream. I appreciate that. I hope you'll stick around, really. Considering the amount of viewers I get for the podcast, I would hope that some of you will stick around for the gameplay. All right, and thank you for chilling and hanging out, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another edition of the Level 1 podcast. Peace out.